I think you're right. There's a very different journey here for commodity products versus luxury.
How does a new brand to market or a new category to market, how do they inject themselves into the consumer space?
This kind of buying journey really exposes the components of what luxury is. When luxury is broken down into granular things like attributes, there are a lot of brands that fall short because there is nothing else apart from the history of the brand.
Also, if you looked at two brands, one luxury, one non-luxury, selling the same thing on the face of it, and their attributes only were listed, they'd probably be the same.
Yeah. I mean, they're made in the same place often.
That's the view sometimes. The brand association to the individual and the individual self. And I don't think we're ever going to change that because people have brand association. You mentioned Three Dog Brewing. It's like there's a team of players that purchase that particular type of product.
So here's a question, right? So I don't have the answer to this, and it's one that I think that new brands will continue to come up against. I was at an event in Austin, and the keynote speaker was a guy from Filson, and he was sort of talking about their journey and saying, this is how we've got to be such a big brand. And ultimately it was heritage. We've been around for a long time with high quality products, from the start, but we've got a heritage and a story and a narrative. How does a new brand to market or a new category to market, how do they inject themselves into the consumer space without a huge brand budget? Like, I think that is the...
I mean, Three Dogs are relatively...
Yeah, they're less than 10 years old. Yeah. What I see for new ones that really want to delve down into heritage, but they don't have the time, is going really deep into long form media. So I think Pure Sport is a good example of that. It's no longer like, how can we entertain a customer for 20 seconds on a reel? It's how can we keep a customer engaged for 20 minutes on a video of me building the brand. So it's not just things like they're doing athletes, it's more, here's us doing product development as well. So it really brings them on the journey. So if we don't have that long-term timepiece, which the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is right now. So it's really investing early on in how much can we show of long form media, not just here's a few clips of the product or here's a bit behind the scenes. You really want to, people buy from people. It's the creator first, and then they create the brand off that. Now we're seeing Pure Sports example, they're the brand, and now you're getting creators from there that people are kind of engaging with as they're part of the ecosystem of the brand. So that's what I would say for new brands that don't have that luxury of having 70, 100 years of heritage mine.
There's also a challenge for brands like that in that if you have been around for so long, actually there is a natural, and is maybe a little bit morbid to talk about, but your consumer base ages and goes away through one form or another. And so if you are trading purely based on heritage, that it's not the one and done where you've invested in brands once and it stops. It needs to keep going and keep attracting new people, into that market, doesn't it? So, equally with new brands coming in and trying to build that heritage, but also, from a Lakeland Leisure perspective, what are the things that you've done to keep refreshing that customer pool to gain new customers?
Yeah, definitely. So we're quite aware that the age demographic of our customers is quite high. I think Google Analytics only goes up to the plus 65 category, which when you think about it, that's a massive, massive age demographic. Right. And they all just kind of get lumped in as one. And from doing more surveys, we kind of found that our average customer, early 70s, and they're our real core traditional customers that we want to continue to serve. At the same time, we're quite aware that we need to grow the brand in other areas as well. So that's a strategic decision we've made, especially for the upcoming autumn winter season, is that we need to have a pivot in terms of products and how we, especially the product side of, so what are the designs, and kind of make that trade-off between, okay, the downside of this is we may lose some of our traditional customers, but ultimately for the long-term survival of the brand, that's a sacrifice that we might need to make. So that's something that we're really seeing in terms of the product that we're developing for the new season, how we're positioning it, and what sort of channels that we're speaking from.